What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers just suffered another loss, this time on the road to the Utah Jazz. They are like 5-12 in the last 17 games. The Lakers are spiraling, and they're spiraling fast. They are currently out of the play-in. They are a full game behind the Houston Rockets for the 10th seed. The Lakers are half a game ahead of the Warriors of falling out of the 12th seed. Luckily, the Warriors ended up losing yesterday. Otherwise, the Lakers would be the 12th seed. The Bucks ended up coming through. But look, the Lakers got to get a trade done, and they got to get one ASAP. Tomorrow is the earliest that the Lakers can officially make like a big trade. They could technically make one sooner, but any type of big trade can't happen till tomorrow, which would be Monday the 15th, depending on when you're watching this. Maybe the 15th is here, maybe it's past. But the Lakers got to get something done. Because if we wait till the trade deadline, it's going to be too late. Seriously. The Lakers they're not good enough to stay afloat. They're not good enough to ride this wave. The Lakers have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 games before the trade deadline. And the Lakers, based on the way that they've played and their current record, they probably win maybe 3 of those games. So now you're 8 games under 500? At that point, your season's over. It's done, even if you do make a trade. I mean, you could probably go trade for Joel Embiid or Giannis at that point. You're probably still not going to catch up. Best case, you end up finishing the 9th or 10th seed. Now, obviously, they're not going to trade for any of those guys, but you get my point, right? It doesn't matter who they get at that point. If they're 8 games under 500, they're not making the playoffs. They're just not. And again, you look at their schedule, it's like, doesn't get much easier. They face the Thunder, then the Mavericks. The Nets and the Blazers you would think would be wins, but the way that the Lakers are playing right now, I wouldn't count on it. Then you got to play the Clippers, who we've beaten twice already. You don't think that they're going to want their revenge? Then Chicago, who they've played better basketball. Then you got the Warriors, who have been struggling mightily, but you're going to be at Golden State, right? So they're gonna be trying to just run you out the gym. The Rockets are ahead of you still, so they need to win to stay in the hunt. And then the Atlanta Hawks, it's just the Lakers are they have to do something. Because then you get into February and you got the Celtics, the Knicks, the Hornets, and the Nuggets. The Hornets may be the only game that you can win in that. And the Celtics, the Knicks are all on the road. The Lakers have to go get somebody, right? Now, I'm Team Zach LaVine. I think Zach LaVine would make a bigger impact than DeJounte Murray. But at this point, just get something, right? I mean, ideally, we get a deal done tomorrow. If I'm being honest, I doubt that happens. I doubt that the Lakers get it done on the very first day. I would love it. I'm sure we've already gotten the reports that Rob Pelinka in the Lakers have made contact and touched base with the Chicago Bulls, with the Atlanta Hawks for either of these guys, and hopefully they've come to some understanding, some foundation, some legwork as to how this trade would go down. The issue is neither of these teams have to necessarily be in a rush to help the Lakers. And that's the problem. I'm sure that these teams, both of these teams want to get rid of DeJounte Murray and want to get rid of Zach LaVine, right? But that doesn't mean that they have to do it in the Lakers timeline. And how do you convince them? Well, the price for both guys just go extremely high, right? Maybe at the trade deadline, if there is nobody interested in Zach LaVine, right? Maybe you get Zach LaVine and you don't have to give up Reeves and you don't have to give up a first. But if the Lakers can't survive long enough and we need to get it done now, well, guess what? Now it is Reeves. Now it is a first. And then you look at Atlanta, right? Atlanta wants Austin, supposedly, based on the reports. They would be willing to work out a deal to include other stuff besides DeJounte Murray, right? Now, again, at the trade deadline, maybe that's, Austin, Rui, and a first plus whatever salary filler for, a DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella, and like Sadiq Bey, right? But now it's like, okay, well, we want all of that. We want Max Christie. We want Maxwell Lewis. We want a pick swap. We want, how many seconds do you got? 4 seconds, right? Okay, we want all those seconds. What do you do? I mean, the Lakers are in a rock and a hard place. And look, I talked about this like a month ago, right? And, because I got asked the question a lot, like, what do I think it'll take to get these trades done? And I mean, I even made a video on like what a Zach LaVine trade would look like and stuff, right? But one of the big things that I tried to get across and highlight when I have those discussions, whether even it's in a live stream, whatever, one of the things that I try to highlight is if the Lakers are in a position to where they can play hardball, then the Lakers have the leverage, right? If the Lakers were 5 games over 500, you have a little leverage, right? Because you can weather the storm. You're good, right? It's like, hey, like we can wait till the trade deadline to get the best deal. But now the Lakers being 2 games under 500, how do you wait till the trade deadline? So now you are no longer in a position of leverage. Now, hopefully, maybe you can work something out, right? Maybe you can convince, the Bulls to trade you LaVine without, Austin Reeves, and maybe you give up a first, and then you got Austin Reeves and the pick swap or something. Maybe you get a pick swap, right? Maybe Chicago's just like, hey, the sooner we can get off of them, the better. But there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that happens. And if I was Chicago, I'd be like, oh yeah, absolutely. We'll trade you Zach LaVine right now. But I want everything that you have. I want it all. What is your other options? You just going to keep playing? By the time the trade deadline comes, then now what? Now you could make the counter argument, and if I was Rob Pelinka, this would kind of be my point, is I don't think you could do this with Atlanta, but I think you could do this with Chicago, right? Let's say Chicago's like, we want everything. You're desperate, right? You have no choice. What's your other option? My response would be, well, if we get to the trade deadline and you need to get Zach LaVine off your roster, that relationship is burnt, and you want to do whatever you can to get rid of him, right? Well, if we're 8 games under 500, why would we trade for Zach LaVine? We might as well just wait. We might as well just ride the rest of the season. We might as well just call it a year. It's unfortunate. It sucks. But come the draft day, we would have 3 firsts that we could trade, and maybe we get somebody better than Zach LaVine. Right? Every year there's somebody available. Maybe Donovan Mitchell becomes available. We can go get Donovan Mitchell. And you guys can be stuck with Zach LaVine. Because, again, the rumors and speculations, assuming that they are true, is that no one wants Zach LaVine. And Chicago may even have to give up an asset to unload Zach LaVine. Right? So if you're the Lakers, you're like, hey, if we get to the point where the season's over and we have no way of catching up, then why would we trade for Zach LaVine? We might as well just wait, right? Which is the case. Like, that could be a real possibility. Again, I don't think you could do that with Atlanta because there are other teams interested in DeJounte Murray. To where Atlanta could be like, okay, fine, then you're out of getting DeJounte. That's fine. We have, the Knicks and the Spurs and the Sixers and everyone else, Miami. We have all these other teams that are interested in DeJounte Murray. So we're good, right? Competition makes things more difficult, makes things more challenging. But if the rumors are true that Zach LaVine, he doesn't have anything, well then now you can maybe kind of press like, hey, let's get this done now, right? Let's be reasonable here. You need to unload him. You're in a position where you need to unload him. We're in a position where we want to turn the season around. Let's find that happy medium. But the problem is now you're probably not getting more. You're probably just getting Zach LaVine. Maybe you can convince them to give you Andre Drummond. But if you got to the trade deadline to where Chicago got a little more desperate, maybe you could convince them, well, hey, we want Zach LaVine. We want Alex Caruso. We want Andre Drummond. Otherwise, we're not going to take LaVine and you can just be stuck with him. And we don't need to trade for LaVine. We could go elsewhere because we have this, right? Like we're the 6th seed right now and we're only 2 games out of 3rd, right? But the Lakers aren't in that position. So now it's like, well, now you're pushing just for Zach. Tough spot for the Lakers to be in. But I think you got to trade Austin Reeves. Look, I like Austin Reeves. I love Austin Reeves. Long term, I think he makes a ton of sense. Problem is, you're in win now position, and the Lakers aren't in a position to mess around. And Austin Reeves gives you the best chance for the best return. He just does. He gives you the best chance for the best return. You got to go get Austin Reeves. You just do. You have to go, trade Austin Reeves. You just do. Because if I understand the idea of like wanting to keep Reeves and whatever. The problem is Reeves isn't helping your cause. The Lakers are 7 points better without Austin Reeves. He is becoming a liability on that court, right? Look at last night's game. Austin Reeves scored 19 points and he gave up 39 or 38 or whatever, right? Like that's terrible. He gave up double the amount of points that he delivered. He was a -21, the highest minus on the team last night. He's becoming more of an issue than he is a benefit. And he is the guy that has the most value that teams actually want and would be willing to maybe bend a little bit to acquire him. So you give up Austin Reeves, right? Maybe you could go get DeJounte Murray and then use that now as leverage to go get Zach LaVine also. Right? Like, hey, we got DeJounte Murray now. We don't need Zach LaVine, but we still want Zach LaVine. Let's get the deal done. Right? Especially if you're able to keep a first or whatever. Like, we'll give you a first. We'll give you these guys. Take LaVine off your hands. Right? We traded Reeves for DeJounte. Right? Because the thing is, if you get DeJounte Murray, you got to trade D'Lo. You do. Because DeJounte, I want to keep D'Lo. I would rather keep D'Lo than Austin Reeves. And last night showed you why. But regardless, if you do get DeJounte Murray, you have to trade D'Lo because it doesn't make any sense. Right? But if you go get Zach LaVine, I think you can make an argument to keep D'Lo. And at this point, I would trade Austin Reeves for Zach LaVine. Austin Reeves is not as good as Zach LaVine. He's just not. If you can get Zach LaVine, go get Zach LaVine. But the Lakers have to do it now. They can't wait. They just can't. They're not in a position to wait anymore. So Lakers either need to make a decision. Either A, we're scratching off this season and it's done. If that's the case, you might as well ask LeBron where he wants to go. Because he's only getting older, right? LeBron, where would you want to be traded? And see what you can get for him. Can't trade AD or anything like that. And even then, I'd probably keep AD and see if you can build something in the offseason around him. But because why? What's the point of keeping LeBron? What's the point of doing everything if you're not going to push your chips to the table to go try to win now? Go get Zach LaVine. Go get a DeJounte Murray. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But at least you tried. At least you did something rather than just sitting with your hands in your pockets like Darvin Ham and just did nothing. Look, I fully trust Rob Pelinka. I expect Rob Pelinka to get something done. But the problem is we're running out of time here. We're running out of time fast. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you agree with my points? Disagree with my points? Do you think, no, wait, be patient? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below.